Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for ICONversations. The ICON program is designed to celebrate our company's top producers. These agents have not only exceeded capping status, but have also reached exceptional milestones, earning them various stock grants and the opportunity to earn back their paid company dollar. Today, from Virginia, we have Miguel Hubis Melanes. From British Columbia, we have Mike Giordano. From Minnesota, we have Justina Johnson. From Texas, we have Kim Wilkin. And from California, we have Peggy Urif. Peggy, take it away.
Thank you for that introduction. Well, we're going to jump right into the questions. If we can go through the panelists, and if you can tell us where you're from, how long you've been with EXP, and how many times you've achieved ICON status, and maybe even throw in what made you come over to EXP. My name's Peggy Urif. I'm from the greater Sacramento area. I have been with EXP since 2020, and I've ICONed for 5 years. I joined EXP because of the technology, and also I'm a mom of 5, and I loved the option to build wealth through stock and through ICON.
And this is my 3rd year at EXP, 3rd ICON. What intrigued me about EXP was the multiple streams of revenue. And I literally told my previous broker the week before I heard about EXP, I said, I'm a lifer with you. And then the next week, somebody said, hey, have you ever heard of EXP? And I said, they're all the same. They're like, no, they're not. And within the hour, I was like, oh, I'm moving to EXP. I just knew it. And it's been the best decision I've ever made for my career.
That's awesome. How about you, Justina?
Okay, there, I'm unmuted. Thank you. I'm from Minnesota. I also have a license in Wisconsin because the Twin Cities is actually where I'm at. It's easier for me to go to Wisconsin than it is to go to Western Minneapolis. So it makes sense. And I've been with licensed since 1999. Moved to EXP in 2019, and this I think my 6th or 6th ICON. I keep on iconing. I'm so thankful. I love it because of the recognition. I never got too much recognition. You get a little plaque and a little breakfast, but that's about all you get at my previous broker. And then when I found out that I'd made my previous broker $2 million of revenue, I said, oh my goodness, I better move. Otherwise I'll die here. So best decision ever. So I'm grateful. And but I'm always been kind of the more motivated one. I'm self-motivated. I don't need to have the office politics going on and things like that. So I've never worked on under a team because I think that would stifle me. So my whole thing is I'm just going to work harder than anybody else and maybe make as much.
Wonderful. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, thanks. Mike Giordano, Victoria, British Columbia, up in Canada. Been with EXP Realty just over 6 years now. Grateful to be a 6-time consecutive ICON agent. I like EXP. The idea of what it means to be an ICON agent is important to me. Getting my brokerage fees paid back to me is huge in the form of stock. So just one of the reasons that got me here. I slept on EXP for a couple of years. Buddy kept saying, come on. I was like, no, I'm good. So my willingness to really have a discussion with somebody around what EXP was about and where they were heading ultimately helped me make that decision. So grateful to be here. Have a super day.
Hey, Miguel, have you gotten your mic situation?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Wonderful. Take it away.
Great. From Northern Virginia, so the Washington, D.C. area. I joined EXP July 2023. 2024. It's been great. I'm looking forward to many more years. I mainly switched over because of the people that were in EXP. So there were big builders, big developers that I was friends with that joined EXP. And I could not find a network of individuals like myself who were doing new builds and other type of investments that were also agents. So that drove me to join EXP. And then I actually learned about the revenue share after the fact. So it's been a great year and a half. And yeah, really happy to be here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I was with a big brokerage for 15 years. And what I found is some of the top producing agents were very tight-lipped on what made them successful. And I love these ICONversations. I attend as many as I can, and I'm always learning something from other ideas from agents that have success in different ways. So let's pop in and go to what are you seeing in your local market right now, and that other agents across the country should be paying attention to. Kim, do you want to take it?
So what I'm seeing in my market.
Yeah, what's going on in your market? Because you're in Austin, Texas. We see that a lot in the news as Californians tend to migrate there, and we're seeing that the market has pulled back. So what have you been seeing?
So we were like the darling for about a decade, best market to be in, most growth, etc. Over the past 36 months, we have seen a pullback. We've seen prices drop, depending on where you are, 10-15%. And what we're seeing, we expected last spring, early spring, it felt pretty good. And then the administration made their changes, whether you believe, in or not. The changes, just the general uncertainty, stalled out the market again. Our market is a height of May typically, and I would say our height was more in July, August this past year is with the way it felt, more activity. And now I would say in November, December, I've had more buyers reach out than I've had in 2 or 3 years. So I think that the settling down of the price differences, the decrease in valuation a little bit has helped. The public announcements that interest rates, just came out that the lowest interest rates in 3 years this week. That's helping. I think that the economy is doing a little bit better in Austin. It wasn't bad. It was just that we did have a few layoffs. And so we're expecting a really solid spring. I'm having investors reach out to me again as well, because I work with a lot of investors from California, etc. And yes, there are still people migrating here from California, New York, Chicago, because we are such a business-friendly state with no state income tax. So things are looking positive. So fingers crossed for 2026.
That's wonderful. Just, what's your market like?
Well, I don't know what anybody else is doing, but I had an amazing year. I did about, 15% more than I did the year before, and I had a good year last year. So I've been selling homes. Things aren't flying off the market which is weird. They're going fast in the mid to upper market, and which is for us is around $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. They're going fast. It's the lower price things that surprise me that are not moving around 3-ish. But I'm thinking that interest rate reduction in different programs that are supposed to be coming out, especially with the Fannie and Freddie, is going to motivate that. So that is good. But I had I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I was working awfully hard, and my phone was ringing, and I've got lots of things coming on and a lot of buyers. And so everybody's complaining around here, but I'm seeing I saw a really good 2025, and I'm off to a really good start this year. So I think it's all about the energy and the attitude that one has to portray that. So when you meet with clients and they see you're smiling and you're happy and you're energetic, they are not afraid to go forward. So if they listen to the news, they get all discouraged. So we just have to have to be there in more ways than one, I guess. So
Definitely. Mike, what's going on in your market?
Thanks. So in my market, 2025 saw more real estate transactions than the year before, and that's important to know, especially for realtors who are maybe listening to non-ICON agents. Like our last speaker said, some of the noise is a little negative, a little down, but there's lots of homes being sold all across North America. What would I be paying attention to? I would be looking and listening to the leaders in our industry. So the people on the stage, your peers in the industry that are continually having great success. And I would probably stop listening to the ones that are filling up their cup at the water cooler all day.
Very wise. How about you, Miguel?
I'm actually in a weird market because we have 3 states that are just right next to each other. We have DC, Virginia, Maryland, and you can be in Virginia within, half an hour of Maryland on the opposite side. So what I'm seeing in Virginia, in the northern part of Virginia, things are going quick. There's a lot of first-time home buyers. There's, second-generation buyers, but everything is going quick in our area. I would probably say between 700 and 1.5 million. They're probably, I'll say under 10 days on the market. When you go over to DC, you see higher days on market driven by much more inventory. So you can have, 7 active homes on one block in DC. And that drives everything down because one guy drops the price, the other ones follow, and then they pretty much affect each other. When you go to Maryland, it's kind of in between what I'm seeing in Virginia and DC. So you see in some submarkets, things go quickly, in other ones, they stay longer. But I think overall, it's a much healthier market, which means there's more options for buyers, but they have to be very well qualified in Virginia to be able to lock up any house that comes up on that price range.
That's great. I'm outside of the Sacramento market, and we are a big destination spot for people who want to stay in California but want to migrate to something that is more affordable real estate wise. So we get a lot of transplants from the Bay Area, which is where I was born and raised, and moved out of the Bay Area 23 years ago. Also, we have people from LA. Our inventory has been flat from 2024 to 2025, just some mild increases in different cities. But what we overall see is a lot of people are moving towards value. So cities that have cheaper utilities, areas that are not on the California FAIR plan for fire insurance, and we'll see how that changes as interest rates go down, or if they continue to go down, but we still have a lot of people that are moving from the Bay Area to enjoy high quality of life and lower cost of living. So what is one discipline or habit you've stuck to, even when results weren't showing up yet, that you now realize made all the difference in your success? Kim, do you want to take that?
The main thing is staying in touch with my clients, because they may not reach out again for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. However, the calling, it's sort of the ninja process, the calling, the postcards, the pop buys, the emailed newsletters, etc. Just over time, it leads to referrals, and it leads to them calling you again because you stayed in touch with them. And really, it's a sphere. You have to keep adding and bringing in new leads because your sphere will move out of state, etc. But that's the core of my business, and staying in touch with them is my number one priority.
Wonderful. Justina?
Yeah, I second that. It's some really important. I just got a listing from somebody. I sold their home. I sold them a home 22 years ago. And because I stayed in touch, they trust me, and didn't even talk about anything like commission or points or anything like that. They just knew they were going to work with me, and we're getting it done.
Justina, to follow up on that, what is your method of keeping in touch with them? Do you do mostly phone calls? Do you go to client parties? Do you do emails?
My client parties are not good. So, but because I keep trying them, and I'm not good at. But postcards, letters, I drop off with the close ones. It takes a long time, but I drop off a plant, and they're at their house every spring, and then every fall I send them a pie certificate in the mail. I call them, so I'm always in touch with them, and but they see my signs in the hood anyhow, and that makes them feel proud that we're together. And so, but so many of my deals are from referrals. And from past clients. And I tell you, if you work that and don't let that go, it's like a retirement plan for you. It's like money coming from heaven, because people trust you and they know that you can be depended on. And if you're consistent with that reaching out, it makes a difference. You may not. I didn't hear from these people for 10 plus years. I dropped off a plant. Oh yeah, we're going to have you over. We're going to move now. And so it's just continuously doing what you're supposed to be doing. And sorry, I can't retire on that not note, but it's like easy stuff now to do it, because if you've had those practices for 20 years.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Mike?
Yeah, I love what I just heard. Thanks. Not everyone in the auditorium has been in the industry for 20 years, right? Or had oodles of transactions to leverage for business. So thinking of you out there, you have a phone, and it is full of phone numbers and contacts of people who know, like, and trust you. So really got to go after those people and be humble. Just heard about some pie, but maybe a little slice of humble pie once in a while, and that is to ask those people straight up, can I be that person for you? Can I be that person for your friends and family? This is my thing. This is my passion, and I want to show you just what it means to me to show up for people as the real estate agent. And I would say for me, what works really well is just being in the habit of gratitude, not necessarily for what I have, but for what I don't have yet. I really do have a goal. On an annual basis, I focus on that goal mentally. I journal that goal every day. And I heard somebody showing up, with a smile on their face, but turning that smile inwardly to yourself, really, really loving and respecting yourself, that things are going to happen the way you want them to. If you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you have to believe in your goal. And I think having a goal is hard for some people. But I mentioned it last time. It's really hard to hit a shooting target, it's really hard to hit a target, a moving target. Even harder to hit a target that you can't see. So just stay focused on your goal and do it with a smile on your face. I believe in you. Have a great day.
Mike, a lot of people have hesitancy in picking up the phone. Call reluctance is probably one of the biggest things that holds agents back into making connections and being successful. What sort of work have you done in preparing yourself to reach out without expectation?
Yeah, you nailed it. Life without expectation and without attachment to outcome makes every day really easy. And the cool thing about that phone being really heavy for some folks is, in today's day and age, it's almost more respectful to shoot a text. It's non-invasive. They can get to it when they want to. You're not catching them at a bad time. There's things like a 30-second video. Turn the phone on, turn the camera around, and point it at yourself and say hi on camera for 30 seconds. Smile, let them see your face. But yeah, reaching out is reaching out. It doesn't have to be a phone call. And there are so many savvy ways for you to be efficient with reaching out to people in your phone. My goodness. Google it, ask ChatGPT, but just making the contact and not expecting them to call you back or text you back. To 10 people a day and 2 people you might engage with. And man, what that can do for you and your motivation to keep going, I think is huge. So I would suggest just trying it.
Wonderful. Miguel, what is one discipline or habit you stuck to even when results weren't showing up yet?
Combination of what Mike was saying and other people were saying. So for me, it's 3 main things. One is following up, other one is reminding, and last one setting goals. So following up is just keeping track of who you talk to, who you reach out to, past clients, open house clients, and making sure that you have the contact information, they know who you are, and they think of you. Second one, reminding, kind of just making everybody aware of what you do, that you're an agent, you're a builder, developer, whatever you do. And that comes with, Christmas gifts, mailers, emails too, postcards, and whatever way you remind other people that you are the agent that they should think about whenever they think about selling or buying. So I want to be the face of, let's say, real estate in my network. So if they want to buy a house, sell a house, or build a house, I want to be the first person they think about when they think about those things. And last one, setting goals. So when you have goals every year, every quarter I kind of sit down and see, kind of where I'm at based on my goals. And I think having that kind of present at all times will push you to go back to the first 2 things I mentioned and kind of just keep pushing forward.
That's great. I also, what Kim and Justina said about keeping in touch with clients is a huge one as you build a business. I know a lot of agents, they get fast and furious at the beginning and they don't do a CRM and have a structured way to get back to clients. I do a lot of client party events, which and I let my clients invite a friend, which helps add to my database. I am a mom of 5, and about 8 years ago, one of my friends told me I needed a hobby, and so I started taking floral arranging lessons. And I'll do 2 big flower arranging events for the women in my database, and then they invite friends to it. So it's a nice way to see 100 to 150 clients all at one time and their friends. As you grow your business and you have more past clients, those client parties can really be a good way to see a lot of people at one time when going one-on-one gets more difficult as you scale and get bigger. So this is a great question that was asked. Can you share a moment in your business where you felt stuck, uninspired, burned out? And what did you do to break through that season? Kim?
Over the past, decade and a half, it's happened a couple of times. Typically what I do is if I'm completely stuck and burned out, I will literally go on vacation. I'm a big traveler, and I take a step back, and while I'm on vacation, I look at what I have been doing and how it's been working and how it's not been working. And then I go back and I look at the basics, and I figure out what is bringing me joy out of the basics of this business and why I got into the business. I write down all the things that I'm grateful for because of this business. And I reset and I come back and I do the basics. I built my business on open houses. I start doing open houses again. I reach out to clients, as I said before, shift the conversation and make sure that I am talking, from a place of gratitude. And it usually shifts taking a vacation and focusing on the gratitude and the benefits of this business really help shift. Sometimes in my opinion, you just have to take a quick step back, even if it's a weekend somewhere, so.
Great. Justina, do you have something to add?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, do you have a moment? Have you had a moment in your business where you felt stuck, uninspired, burned out? And what did you do to break through that season?
Sure, generally on Mondays. I'd go for a walk and I just get my mindset on worship and praise. And I'm going, okay, let's regroup. So, yeah, I'm a very emotional person. So I have highs and lows. So it's just part of who I am. And I just have to learn to cope with it. But I do have one question that I wanted to ask the group your opinion on. Is that I'm older than everybody in this room. And so a lot of my clientele are older people, and I've got a lot of widows, single women, and divorcees. I'm thinking of on Valentine's Day, maybe the day before, is to have a little meet at like we have what do they have here? A Golden Corral in that back room, and have a little inspirational lunch for just my ladies that don't get Valentine cards, don't get loves, and just have a little intimate visit with them. What do you think of that idea? I've been for the last number of years, I just send out Valentine cards to them, but thinking of doing that. What do you guys think of that idea?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of agents do a Galentine's event. So it's, women getting together for Valentine's Day and doing brunch or something like that. I think it's great. And, that's a nice thing to recognize. I used to do a Mother's Day flower arranging event. And I stopped doing that because some people have lost their mom. Like I lost my mom this year. Some people have infertility and then I couldn't become a mom. And it can be kind of a divider between clients that can feel left out if they see pictures on the internet or something of an event and or make them feel bad. So having like a general thing that recognizes people in all different things, I think is a great idea.
Thank you. Yes, I'll let you know how it goes.
Good. Yeah. Okay, Mike, did you have a time where you felt stuck, uninspired, burned out?
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's life. Usually doesn't have a lot to do with my business. That's just me being real. Being burnt and being stuck means there's something going on with me. So I've been burnt, I've been stuck, and boy, that's been the best growth opportunities in my life. So if you're feeling that way, maybe have a look at what's going on. And once you feel a little bit better, I'm sure your business will take off. I'm rooting for you if that's the case. With respect to the last speaker's question, I'm not a big event person, just a little bit more than I can take on with my capacity. But I always love hearing about them.
That's great. Miguel, do you have something to add or we can go to the next question?
Yeah, just real quick. I think it happened to me a couple of years back. I felt stuck with production. I was like, well, how can I do more? And I realized you really can't do more unless you hire people. You cannot be showing 20 homes per day, doing 20 offers and handling 20 listings. So I think hiring people and delegating stuff, like having showing agents, listing and buyer coordinators working for you, is what will get you to the next level with production. So that just a couple of years back that I was stuck with a certain level of production that I was trying to get through. And that was what got me through it, just hiring people out.
Yeah, and that's a great way to avoid burnout is to have that already set up before you get busy. A lot of us get really busy and then we're trying to sort out how to manage it at that point. But it's like, the saying goes that, you need an assistant before you can afford one. And I totally agree that will prevent a lot of the burnout. So being self-employed and being in the industry, I just heard Leo talking on the call before about, the balance that we have to do in real estate. How do you balance the pressure of production with your personal life, your family, your mental health, and what boundaries or practices have helped you the most? So focusing on what boundaries and practices have helped you the most. Does anyone want to pop on and chat? I guess I'll go. So one of the things that can cut down on the late night calls for me in my business is it's not necessarily the clients that are always calling in the evening, but a lot of times it's agents. And I don't know if you experience this in your marketplace, but sometimes we'll have agents that work a full-time job 9 to 5 and then do real estate on the side. And then once they get off work, they're calling you with all of these requests and different things. And so when I get in contract with a client and we're in contract and there's another agent involved, I'll call that agent ahead of time and say, hey, I want to protect, the boundaries and have nice evenings for your family and for my family. And so if you can get me questions or things during the day, and we can avoid some of the nighttime calls unless it's an emergency. Does anyone else have a boundary or a practice that have helped them?
It's me. It's Justina. I don't work mornings. Mornings are my time. I work from like 11 to 8, noon to 8 o'clock, 4 days a week. So that's kind of what I like to do. I like to take my hour-long walk and have meditation time and prayer time and then hit it really hard. And I feel like if they take my morning time, I feel like I'm not as good for the rest of the day.
I'll jump in. It's Mike. I love that last speaker's comments. Protecting my peace is huge. Morning meditation, morning prayer, and exercise are every day for me, 7 days a week. And I also love the comment around setting boundaries at night. One thing that's worked really well for me at the beginning when I wasn't as comfortable. Sometimes every opportunity just feels like the opportunity, especially if you're, in a rut or you're stuck or you're new or your kid's ribs are poking out of his tummy because he's hungry. Hopefully that's really the case. But when you have a boundary or you have time that you want for yourself, just to simply say, I have an appointment. Whether it's an appointment with yourself in the morning, they don't need to know. Nobody needs to know. But it's a great way to start setting up boundaries without everyone can respect that. I think that I have a commitment at that time or at these times in my life. What about another thing that works really well for me is when somebody says something like, hey, why don't you come over at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, just to say, well, how about this? Why don't I come over earlier so that you and I can both get on with helping our families and cooking dinner and spending that quality time with them. So we can come. I want to come by before dinner and kind of keep it to those hours that work best for you. So there's lots of little tricks and find the one that feels most comfortable with. But once you start using these and having some boundary, I think your clients really respect you for it, and more so respect yourself. We show up like rock stars. We don't have to show up 24 hours a day. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Kim or Miguel, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think going back to delegating. So earlier in my career, I was doing everything. I was getting calls at 9, 10, and I kind of felt forced to pick them up. just out of respect for my clients. And I realized, like, you can't really kind of do that your whole life, just pick up calls at 10 p.m. when you have, family dinner and whatnot. So going back to the whole delegation stuff, I try to have my people just handle all that stuff for me. So all I get is calls from them and not always from, other agents and buyers and whatnot. So I've learned to just kind of let that go and just have him deal with all those, I guess, headaches. Unless things are really going wrong, then they'll push out to me at not a decent time, like at a weird time. And at that point, I don't mind picking up the phone for something urgent. But I learned to just put myself first, like my health and my family's health, before work and anything out there.
That's great. Yeah, and I like what Mike said about saying that you have an appointment. I feel like sometimes when you get to burnout, it's usually a conflict in between, an imbalance in your personal life and your business life. And so I've been licensed for 21 years. I have 5 kids from 20 down to 11. And I always felt like if I was missing out on my kid stuff, I started resenting the business. And so I put all of my art docencing in the classroom, all of the field trips, all of that on my calendar first, and do what Mike says. So sorry, I can't meet you. I can have another agent, show you that property at that time, but I'm already have an appointment. But that helps make me feel less torn as a working mom. Kim, did you have something else to add?
I haven't done this, but there was an agent friend of mine that she had a template text that if it was after 6 p.m. or before 9 a.m., she literally sent it to everybody that sent her text. And it just simply said, "Thank you so much for reaching out. This is outside of my business hours. I'm looking forward to connecting with you during business hours. And these are my hours." And it was graceful and succinct, and that boundary, and she did it with everybody. So the agents calling her at 9 p.m. as well as her clients, as well as everything. And it was just really thought it was a great way to set a boundary and be extremely professional in her response as well.
That's great. So another question for you guys is, what do you do to refocus and show up every day, especially on days when you don't feel like making calls, showing homes, or doing follow-up? I know we've heard about people's morning routines, and for me, it's exercise. I like to exercise, in the morning to refocus myself and get my mind straight before I get into the work. What has worked for you guys on those days that you just don't want to show up? What do you do to refocus?
I think for me, it's just kind of working out, just getting my mind off work and trying to focus on myself. And then a lot of times, there's days, that I'm busier than other days. So I try to just take care of the biggest things at first when I have more time, so I don't have to, feel down the following day or so. And I try to make my Sundays, like my Sunday evening, I try to take care of everything planning wise for the entire week, so that way I can focus on that whole week on each line item. So on Sundays, I kind of plan out my whole Monday, Tuesday, my whole week on a daily basis. And I think putting tasks on your own calendar at a daily basis will make you stay focused.
Yeah, time blocking is key.
I'll jump in. I like that. Sunday is definitely the day where I look at my week ahead. That sense of direction is pretty important. I'm a bit of a checklist guy, so having some things to cross off the list. But on a day where I just might not have the juice, some self-compassion. Not every day is going to be the day, but there's one thing I can do. There's write a list, 5 things, and then circle the one. It's the whole 80-20 thing. I mean, 20% of what we do yield 80% of the results without question. There's one thing that can at least get the momentum, get you climbing that hill for the next day. Whether it's 4 or 5 text messages to the people that you helped last year, just saying, I can't thank you enough for thinking of me last year with your real estate goals. I'm just warm and fuzzy at this very moment in time, full of gratitude. There's food in my fridge and you're a big part of that. Have an awesome day. That 3 times, 4 times, put the phone down and go for a walk is something I would do.
Okay, the last question that we have is, if you could go back to the first year you hit ICON, what's one thing you'd do differently, or one piece of advice you would have given yourself?
I have one. It's silly, but it's going to happen. Don't stop stressing out about it, because it's going to happen. There's enough business coming in and there's enough business to be had. So,
yeah, staying out of that scarcity mindset. I think when you ask an agent, how is the real estate market, what they're usually really referring to is how their business is, which is different than what the real estate market is. And so, you just have to, go after, and, do the activities, and the results, will come. Anyone else have any advice for that first year that you hit ICON?
I think for myself, I honestly
Yeah.
did not even. So there's like on our EXP 3.0 portal, you can see where you're at with to hit ICON, like how many more steps you have to complete. And for me, it was just kind of checking that out every couple of weeks to see where I was at. And at some point, I just got the email saying, "Hey, you made ICON." I was kind of unaware of that because I've not checked for a month. So a lot of times things happen without you even noticing if you're putting the work and the hours that it takes to get up there. I mean, I don't think I would change anything. I would just keep pushing myself to do more and more volume, and also help other agents in my network achieve that as well. I had one of the girls that I sponsored. She hit ICON last week, and she sent me the email she received, and she was thankful that she could be an ICON. So I think kind of bringing people together and making them kind of elevate themselves, it's really important. Just making sure you're not the only one who's caring about your goals, but also caring about people's goals in your network.
Mm-hmm.
I think focusing on the feeling, that feeling of being an ICON agent, is really key. And then just seeing what actions take place. And if you can really embody that feeling and emotion of holding that ICON award in your hand, or seeing those stock roll up, and the belief that it'll happen, it's just non-consciously, you'll just make some really smart decisions, I think, that'll get you a little bit closer. So that's just me. Really big on visualizing things that I want, but feeling the emotion or the energy, what it'll be like when it happens, thinking from that place, already being the ICON agent and seeing how you show up that day. Thanks.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I think the first year hitting ICON, the one thing that I would do differently is I would have gone to more virtual events to learn more. I kind of got into EXP in 2020, and my business was extremely busy at the time. So I didn't really tap into all of the resources available. I've learned so much from attending different IConversations. and other events, classes during the week. I think also is one thing that I did my first year is I celebrated and showed my kids, the stock that I got awarded. And, I think it helps in a family for them to see like, oh, my mom, works and puts in a lot of stuff and she's being rewarded and it's for something for our future, like their college funds. So that would be one thing. Justina, did you have anything else?
I know you've been awesome, and this is what I appreciate about being an icon is to get your opinions and be a part of a group because, being a solo agent out in the nowhere land gets to be lonesome. So thank you all for your insights. I appreciate it. And I have to sign off.
I'm going to jump in really quick again, if you don't mind, only because I was in my office last night and I was having a meeting and I walked outside and I guess my trophy had showed up yesterday in the mail, my Icon Award this year. Anyway, my kid opened the box and he came around the corner and he held it out and said, "Hey, Dad, I just want to say congratulations for being an icon." And maybe you can hold that memory, or that I would hold that memory a little closer in my first year because boy, oh boy, did that feel pretty cool yesterday. So I just want to share that moment in my life and with gratitude because I really appreciate being on this stage and the work that comes with it. Thanks.
That's wonderful, Mike. All right. Well, did anyone have anything else? We have, I think, 5 minutes. We got a little bit later start. Anything, any wisdom to share with the audience? Anything that you're doing now that you're seeing results from? I think
one thing.
Okay, go. Yeah, that's great.
Having an online presence is really important. So whenever people want to work with you, if it's a new client, they're gonna Google you. So Google yourself and see what comes up. If you don't have a Google profile, set one up so you can get, so you can start getting reviews. Same with Zillow, make a profile so you can get some reviews as well. And then have a good website too. I just created mine this past month, and we went live last week. So it's important to be out there. So now everything goes through Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media stuff. And people who are buying homes are the ones scrolling through Instagram and Facebook every day. So just be out there in all those different, social networks.
Yeah, I agree. I was in the business for a long time before doing a Google profile and getting Google reviews, and I've had lots of transactions off of that from people that are searching. And then another thing I would give advice to is really managing your time on social media. Get on and get off. Mike and I were on a call last week, and I shared that I got a device called a brick for my phone that stops all the distracting apps so I can have focused time. It's amazing all of the things that I get done now. I read like 4 books this week because I bricked my phone from social media stuff. And then Jan just popped in the chat. So if we could rapid fire answer one last question, what advice would you give a brand new agent? Kim, you're probably going to say open houses, huh?
I'm going to say open houses, but do it from the perspective, go shadow somebody that rocks open houses. Don't just try and do it on your own. Go shadow somebody and learn their tools and techniques.
Justina, advice for a new agent?
Yes.
Oh, I think our mic cut off. Mike, do you have something?
Yeah, pick up your phone and let 5 people know today that you're their realtor or that you would love the opportunity to help them. These people know, they like, and they trust you. Start with your phone.
Perfect. Miguel, one piece of advice to a new agent.
Be confident. I started when I was 18 years old. And of course, at that age, you're not too confident because you're dealing with 30-year-olds and more. So just be confident about who you are and what you do. Never feel bad for being young or not knowing enough. Just be around people who know more than you. The only way you learn is by watching other people who are better than you do whatever you want to do. So I did my best to be with top producers when I was younger, and I still do it now. So even if you think you're selling 30 million a year, you're selling 40 million a year, there's somebody selling over $100 million a year. So always be closer to those people. Just trying to, become friends with people like that who are like-minded and are doing better than you are.
Yeah. And I would dress the part too. Make that great first impression by looking professional. I see a lot of, people kind of dressing very casually. And I think nothing gives more credibility to a blazer. So have a good blazer when you're going to meet with somebody. And be proud of the way that you're presenting yourself. I think that's it. Thank you guys for a wonderful time together. I always learn so much from other icons across the nation, and I'm proud to be part of such a great company. And hopefully we will see each other in person at an icon event or at EXPCon.